talking about Thanksgiving leftover ideas is
Yeah.
awesome. Like that's, always good stuff.
For sure.
I've got my trip down to Cambria. I could talk about, I hit Barrel
Yes.
House, and I
Perfect.
quick peeked into Firestone Walker. So I
Okay,
didn't
cool.
do the tour, but I ran in and I was like, hey, let me just ask you some questions real quick, and I'm not going to give you $15 and 45 minutes of my time. I will 100% go back there. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
will go back and do that tour. It looks pretty
For sure.
sick.
Stay out late to gastrobate and hang out with our friends. We'll share a few good microbrews, the good times never end. From seaside to the mountains, we'll travel many lands. Eat of their pub cuisine and hear their local bands. We'll drink it from a bottle in a can or what's on tap. We'll rate each brew as we do with fairness and a map. Spirits are up, we'll fill our cup, the wind is in our sails. We'll drunkenly mix metaphors and travel hoppy trails.
Welcome back to Hoppy Trails, a show where we go out and get stuffed, but we always come back to you because you're our trip to family.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Travis, and I didn't mean that like you put us to sleep. I just meant it like we love you and we're glad you're here, and we're glad to be here talking to you tonight.
You blame it on the turkey. That's why you fell asleep.
That's
turkey's
it.
fault.
It was
not all the alcohol that you consumed.
Not the stouts.
Not all the high carb food items that you consumed.
No.
None of that. It is the
How
turkey's
dare
fault.
you?
That tryptophan.
How dare you blame the alcohol or the carbohydrates? What did they ever do to you except love you?
Love my insides.
That's right. Well, yeah, man, this is our post-Thanksgiving episode. So it hasn't been a full 2 weeks from the release. Obviously, we're recording it earlier, but so we're right back up in your ear holes.
We are freshly stuffed right now. We're still we've still got to shed off the Thanksgiving pounds, but we're thankful for them.
Absolutely
We'll
thankful.
Just as thankful for them to go.
I've been doing 16-ounce reduction curls. You crack that 16-ounce can and you give it a curl. Now it's 12 ounces, 8, 4.
Now it's about to be, what are these, 32 ounces?
32s, yes. Speaking of which, man, what do you got in your hot little hand there, my friend?
Well, so what was it? Like the other day, Billy reached out to both of us. He's like, quick, pick one that you like. And I was like, thankfully I saw it within 4 minutes of him sending that. And so I picked one, and then I didn't think anything of it after the fact. And then today, amazing timing. Today, I walked out the front door to go to Costco, and there's a little box on my porch. Little box. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I just went ahead and picked it up.
What kind of box was yours? Mine was a box of protein shakes.
That was mine too, chocolate protein shakes.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, I don't even have to look at the label. I know who sent me this.
Yeah. And you know what protein shake boxes hold well?
What do they hold well, Nick?
A crowler of beer.
A 32-ounce screw top crowler of beer. Yes.
And this was, I have to admit, this was my first time seeing a screw top crowler.
How cool is that with the screw top?
And I absolutely love this. I feel like every brewery should be using this for a crowler going forward, because, not only can you still just recycle it like a regular can, but you can literally reuse it anytime you want. You can rinse it all out sanitarily and use it to carry drinking water while you're hiking. Like,
totally.
I mean, this is a great drinking vessel.
Absolutely.
And it's comfortable enough that you could just drink it as is. With a regular pop top crowler, I'm always afraid to drink from it because it's just got a big wide mouth to it, and I don't have a big wide mouth.
No, you do not. No, you do not. You have a pert little mouth, Nick. I don't know where I was going with that. No, these things are outstanding. I mean, you look at all the places that they, tap rooms, they've got the regular crowler and they've got the crowler seamer, right? The thing that seams the top on there. And it's like, man, those things they can be a little finicky. Sometimes they don't seam correctly and you get a leaky one, and it's like one out of every however many. And you deal with it and you go, whatever, I got to take something from
we had that happen not too long ago. It leaked
You
in
remember
the backseat of my truck.
Yep. It goes down. It happens. And you know those seamers, those things are a few $1,000s, and they're real. Like it takes a while to set them up and get them tuned in. These bad boys right here, man, they come with the top. All you do, you fill them up, you put that screw cap on there, and they're just as sealed. They're just as sealed as a crowler you filled up in the tap room.
I had already cracked mine open so I could share with Monica, but even when I went to go twist it out, it was like a nice firm seal on it. Like I had to put some force behind that twist to get it open. And it actually, it had a nice, little pop.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of which, I'm going to crack this one right now. Everybody listening right here.
I'm curious to see if I'll,
What? Do you hear that?
Did you catch that? Yeah, dude.
Nick, that's a reopen. Wow.
That was a reopen. I opened it about 45 minutes ago. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What do I have here? Holy cannoli. Okay. Well, first off, where's this from? This is from Cyclops Cidery and Brewery is where this is from. Spartanburg, South Carolina, right? That's where these bad boys are coming from.
Ooh.
Making absurd the norm. Darn right. What? Oh, Nick, what do you have, brother? What is that?
I love the name to it. It's called a Light Fighter Porter.
Light Fighter?
Light Fighter. Therefore, it does not let light through.
No, it doesn't. That is black as night.
Actually, let's try something out here. We'll turn on the flashlight on my phone here. And we'll just shine it up there. Oh, yes. Look at that.
Look at that, man.
Serious light fighting.
For real, that light does not penetrate. That is amazing. Wow. Okay. Oh my God. The aroma is coming off this.
It's like a smoky sun.
I'm telling you, man, it looks like when we had those fires down here and it looked like we were standing on Mars. The light is barely coming through red. That's a dark beer, man.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness.
All right, and which beer is that? What's the name of that one?
This one's called the Light Fighter.
The Light Fighter, but it's
not Light Fighter, Light Grinder.
Light Grinder. Yeah, Light Grinder. Yes. And is that a porter or stout?
Porter. So I was
okay.
Yes.
This is Hot Swiss Miss. Okay, this is an 8%er, and I think this thing's about to blow my face off. All right, here it is. Look at this. Okay,
beautiful.
Yep, nice and dark.
I'm assuming based on the name, you're gonna get some heavy chocolate notes.
I'll tell you what's coming through. Oak like a motherfucker. There's oak on this.
So it's barrel aged.
It's bourbon. This is bourbon through and through. Oh my goodness, the nose is so much bourbon. But then like roasty. Oh my God. Okay, I've got to go into this thing. I've got to go in. Yeah, I'm holding it up to my light. Nothing. Absolutely nothing coming through this. Just amazing. All right. Oh my goodness. It's silky. It has a really silky mouthfeel. That is not what I was expecting from this. It's like silky and creamy, if I were to describe like the consistency. Oh, that's nice. Definitely bourbon and real creamy. Wow.
It's a hot chocolate. It says it's a hot chocolate milk stout with
Which one?
Spicy kick. What you're drinking?
I'll tell you what, man. This is
Hot Swiss Mistress.
This is a hot chocolate that you put a bunch of bourbon into.
Huh. Interesting. I don't see anything about it with saying anything about it. It just says something about with a spicy kick.
What? I'm telling you, that spicy kick is bourbon. It has to be. There's no way it's not. Wow. It all I'm getting from this is bourbon. Unless Billy gave me a little surprise, then he put, about 4 fingers of bourbon into it before they filled it up. Yeah, it's an 8%er. 8%er definitely feels warm going down, but it's nice. I like it. I absolutely like this. Yeah. That's an after dinner for sure. Yeah.
This one is great.
Yeah.
Loving it. Just nice and roasty.
Yeah.
I just want to curl up next to a fire drinking it. Like,
oh yeah.
This is.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like yours as well. I'd probably want to do that as well. It's boozied up hot chocolate.
Man, I'm telling you, I wish you were here because both of these cans, they're 32 ounces. These are big ones made for sharing, brother. I wish you were here next to me. We could go halvesies on this thing.
Oh, good. We will be sharing quite a few beers in a little over a week.
A week. Yeah, because what's coming up, man?
Yeah, you're coming to visit. It's going to be good.
That's right.
Chris is coming early.
Hoppy Trails in person in Oregon. Gonna be great. Yeah, a couple of weeks here. I mean, what? Less than 2 weeks now, right? Yeah.
Literally next week from this Thursday.
Yeah, so by the time this releases, 1 week after this releases, I'll already be there. I will already be there. Yeah. Yeah.
You'll already be here, and we will be getting into mischief.
Yes, we will. Now check this out, Nick.
There's a lot of places we need to go to.
Oh, and there's so many that we're everyone listening. Here's what you got to understand. We've got so many places that we're throwing these out. Well, what about this one? I don't know. We'll put that for next trip, and we're gonna have a packed full time, and we're not even gonna scratch the surface. But it's gonna be a blast. Yeah,
totally. And you're gonna come along with us.
Nick. I've got this glass here. Okay. This is another one from Proper Pints, right?
Nice.
And it says, this is Hop Country from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, right? And it's got the hops instead of bats.
Bats?
Yeah. Awesome. So, yeah, another cool one. This is one of the 4 that I got from Proper Pints. Absolutely check them out, everyone. They're on Instagram, and you can see all the stuff he's got, and just hit them up, order it, and ship them right to you. But I'm loving these glasses. I'm loving them. So we had Thanksgiving, and now here we are after Thanksgiving. And I would like to let's get a little bit of a recap. How'd it go? What did you do? What did you not do? What worked? What didn't work? Let's hear it, Nick. Little Monday morning quarterback.
Yeah. So, we kept it simple. We stayed home. Our neighbors from across the street, they joined us. I obviously made a turkey.
Yep.
Few things went a little sideways with it, but it's okay. I'll talk about that in a second. Made a few sides. We did some roasted green beans with basic seasoning and then a little Parmesan on them just before they finished. I did potatoes au gratin with crazy cheese sauce that I added chopped up peppered bacon that I cooked the day before into that. That was so good. I'm gonna really have to make that again.
Yes.
I made some stuffing that had a Italian sausage in it. That turned out really good.
Yeah.
Yep. We made a pie. Monica made a pie that was she originally wanted to do, traditional apple pie, but I was like, I'm tired of apple pie. I'm tired of apple crisp. But I'm not tired of apple per se.
Sure.
And I threw out there, why don't you make a apple or a cheesecake apple pie?
Yeah.
And she's like, huh. So she did some searching, found a good looking recipe.
Yeah.
And that's what she made. And that turned out really good. I think we might end up making it again for Christmas.
Yeah.
When we get down south. But
you know what? That's the thing.
That turned out really well.
Sometimes Thanksgiving can be like a rehearsal for some Christmas dishes as well. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's close enough. Throw this one in here. If it makes the grade, it makes it to Christmas.
Right. So, but yeah, the turkey, everything was going fine. I had it brined for 24 hours. That was a nice looking brine. Had a little bit of a leak in the bag, but thankfully it was up towards the top of the bag near where I tied it off. Got it out, spatchcocked it, put it on a cookie sheet with a drying rack back in the fridge for overnight to just air dry it. Next morning, put rub on it. This is the first time I've done injection with a bird.
Yeah.
Totally doing injection moving forward.
Yes.
Butter in solid form is overrated. Dude, like, because in the past, like I'll stuff, I'll separate the skin from the breast and stuff that all full of butter and everything.
Yeah.
Cover the whole outside with butter and all that and seasoning. This, though, the injection, you just poke that bird all over the place. It's going to leak out and everything, but dude, I didn't have to butter the outside one bit whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
And the mixture that I use, it was just like I put like 3 sticks of butter in a little pot, add a little poultry seasoning, and then added in some Cholula hot sauce, and I just let that sit on the stove on low for an hour or so, and just kept it warm. And when I was ready, I filled up the syringe a couple times and popped the turkey. And dude, it was crazy because it was very warm butter going in, clearly, because I was injecting it. But within minutes, whatever was leaking out of the holes that I poked through, the butter was already solidifying as it was leaking out down the side of the bird.
Oh, wow.
Because the bird was still so cold.
Oh, yeah, man.
And the nice thing about injecting, it's pretty cool because, well, if you do it enough, it works out perfectly. But there's just all these little pockets of buttery flavored goodness throughout the meat and everything. And yeah, it just, dude, it was so juicy. The bird ultimately turned out really well. My only complaint with it was because it got on late, I rushed it and I didn't get to crisp up the skin on majority of the bird. Around the neck and everything, it crisped up really nicely, but the rest of it was not quite crispy. But so yeah, both my smokers gave me issues. The first one, I literally just used it a few days before to smoke the pastrami.
Yeah.
No issues
Everything
whatsoever.
Working fine. Yeah.
Everything was working fine. It was working fine all the way, past smokes. I clean it out, give it a good cleaning on Tuesday, or was it Wednesday? No, Wednesday morning. I cleaned it out, and I should have done a fired up test run, and I didn't. That was my own bad. But yeah, it kept tripping the breaker after 3 minutes after starting up.
Yeah.
And I did that like 5 or 6 times. I was like, okay, I can't do this. So went and uncovered my other pellet smoker.
Yeah, Julio, if you're listening, that's right. Nick has 2 easy bake ovens. 2. He doesn't switch over to pieces of wood. 3. He has 3 easy bake ovens. That's right. At no point did Nick pull a piece of wood out. He said, listen, I've got backups here.
And then so I uncover the Traeger. I haven't started it up in like 8 months.
Yeah.
Of course, power it on. First thing it wants to do is a software update.
Of course.
So then 10 minutes later, after that's done, I go to start it up, set my temperature. 10 minutes later, the temperature is still sitting at 45 degrees. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yikes.
I hear the blower going and everything, but no smoke or heat. So I'm like, okay. So I just let it keep running, took the grills off, took the drip pan out, all that, the deflector. And I was like, well, there's a pile of unburnt pellets. All right. Go inside, grab my torch, blast that real quick, get the pellets ignited, put everything back in, let it sit for 10 minutes. It's up to temperature and ready to go. Coincidentally, the hot rod, the igniter for pellets on both of these smokers decided to take a shit on Thanksgiving on me. So
crazy.
It is what it is. I am
always on the big game, right? It doesn't happen on a random Tuesday.
Yeah. So I improvised, and bird ended up going on like 45 minutes late, but I ended up pulling off a pretty tasty bird. So yeah, that was our Thanksgiving in a nutshell.
Outstanding, man. Outstanding. I'll tell you what, man. You know, that's kind of that's the sign of somebody who's a professional. You know what I mean? The professional home feast maker is when stuff starts going south, you're just like, look, we can either all freak out about it and get Chinese food, or we can let's find a solution.
Yeah.
Let's MacGyver this. Let's make it work. You know what I mean?
For sure. I didn't let it get to me. I just remained calm and figured out a way, and it worked out. So
that's it.
But
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. How was yours? I know that you guys probably didn't. Well, you maybe did a little bit of cooking since you're at your family's house, but
nothing.
No,
I did absolutely nothing. Nope.
Oh,
I showed up. That was wonderful. So here's the thing. We, you know, it's often hard to get my whole family together, right? We live in many of us different places and what have you. So we were going to have most of us there. So, you know, my mom says, all right, well, we're going to have most of us. Let's bring some presents. We'll do a Christmas gift exchange and what have you. And Steph, you know, assisted greatly with getting all the presents together and what have you, getting them wrapped and all of that. We load up, get ready to go. We drive up, which is, you know, a little over an hour to my sister's house. She's a little bit south of my mom. We stop in there and say, okay, we'll hang out and then we'll all roll over together. We start loading some stuff into my brother-in-law's car. And I see their big bin full of presents. And I think, wait a minute. I don't remember loading presents into our car. And sure enough, I go and look, and we had completely left all the presents back at my house. So, so it was okay. Let's switch the car seat over to my sister's car. You know, Steph and the baby go with my sister and her girls. You all go over there. Brother Joey and I, we hop into mine, head back down to the Monterey area. 2-hour detour. We grab these presents, get back up. We got there before dinner. Plenty of time to have a couple of drinks before we all sat down, so it worked out. But man,
wow,
that
nice,
almost a disaster there. But you know, we worked it out. And listen, here's what we brought to Thanksgiving. I brought 3 bottles of wine, 2 good bottles of champagne. I brought a Delirium Nocturnum, which let me tell you, that is an amazing beer. Such a good one.
Beer.
It was between the Delirium Nocturnum and the Delirium Tremens, and I was thinking, you know, for dinner turkey, I think the Nocturnum was the way, and it was spot on for dinner. We had let me see, we had a 4-pack of West Coast double IPAs. We had a 4-pack of hazy IPAs, and then I had with me also some Old Rasputins. Old Rasputin, which is a wonderful Russian Imperial Stout. That's another one that's up there, I think about 9%. That one will kick you right in the teeth. But yeah, our thought was this. Bring plenty of wine. That's fine for before dinner, with dinner, everything like that. Delirium Nocturnum is good for sitting with the turkey and stuffing and what have you. It was wonderful. The IPAs, great for before dinner. If you need to take a break real quick, everyone's hassling you. You run out to the cooler in the car and knock half of one of those down, go back in, nothing wrong. And then the Old Rasputin, baby, with pie, some pecan pie, some pumpkin pie. I think there was an apple pie and what have you. It was wonderful. And I'm telling you,
good golly,
everything we read in that article, when I was out there buying the beers, I thought, yeah, this all sounds right. One of these, one of those, one of these. Those guys knew what they were talking about, man, and they helped make a very good beer list for my Thanksgiving. So yeah, that article I definitely appreciated, and I'll be going back to that game plan again probably for Christmas.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We actually didn't even drink any beer on Thanksgiving.
What?
Yeah.
What?
But that's because Monica made this amazing apple sangria.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was really good. We ended up hitting was it the night before, which I've never seen a liquor store so packed. But then again, you know, it's the night before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
But yeah, that liquor store was packed. And honestly, I'm surprised we were able to find it, but because the recipe that she had for it called for brandy.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, huh, okay. So I found apple brandy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was apple brandy, some white wine. She cut up a bunch of apples, a few oranges, cinnamon sticks in there. Dude. Oh, it was so good. That was really good. She just finished it up last night. But we had a bunch of extra, but yeah, it was really good.
That sounded like that would be just a wonderful thing to have. And when Monica was describing it, I was just like, literally every course this is going to go with a little bit when everybody first arrives, little appetizer, go well with dinner, go well with dessert. It's kind of a well-rounded, just, take you from start to finish. Yeah.
It actually went great. So our neighbor brought over two things. They brought over cranberry sauce that they made, which that was amazing as well. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
That was the first time I combined cranberry sauce and stuffing in a long time.
Yeah. Ooh.
And that just, I lit up like a Christmas tree, man. I was just like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
And then she also did a cranberry salsa that went over cream cheese.
Wow.
And we did with crackers, but that was also really good. That went great with the sangria that she made.
Yeah.
And then with leftovers when did we make that? I think it was Saturday night we made them. We actually went to a winery that we're members of up in the hills behind us to pick up our wine release that came out in September. And after that, we stopped by Safeway and picked up some egg roll wrappers.
Yes.
And we made some Thanksgiving leftover egg rolls with some turkey stuffing and the cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
That was good.
You were talking about those before, man, doing the Thanksgiving leftover egg rolls, man. So give us an overview of how that works.
You literally just take the wrapper itself. I took turkey, I microwaved a real quick, and I just chopped it up real fine. Like you'd get, so that way it's the same meat consistency and like a regular egg roll.
Yeah.
And then same with the stuffing, I just broke it up really well. And just kind of did a line of each and then just dripped some of the cranberry sauce on top of each row and just rolled it up like an egg roll. And then once we had them all rolled up, I sprayed it with avocado oil all around and put it in the air fryer.
Air fryer. Man, this is the problem I have in my life. I don't have an air fryer. And so I see everybody's like, oh, and you pop this in the air fryer, you do it in the air fryer. I'm always like, listen, the air fryer is just a countertop mini convection oven. You do the same thing by firing up your Oh, wait a minute. A that's smart as fuck. And, it's one of those things where I'm like, what do you need this for? The oven does it. Well, I don't know, man. Why do you need a toaster oven? Because sometimes you have a smaller batch and that would be perfect for it, doing stuff like that, banging a handful of them out. Yeah, man, I've got to get an air fryer. That's it.
And then, yes, you do. And now I know what to get you for Christmas.
Yes.
So we had, from making the cheesecake apple pie, we had a bunch of leftover apple pie filling that we made.
Ooh, yeah.
So we went ahead and we took some of that and we put that in egg roll wrappers and wrapped it up.
Oh yeah.
And then some of the leftover cranberry salsa with cream cheese, I ended up in the Tupperware container, just mashing it all up with a spoon. So it's just the cream cheese and cranberry salsa was all mixed together. I believe she even had some jalapeno in there as well.
Oh yeah.
And so then we filled up some egg rolls with that mixture as well, the cream cheese and cranberry mixture. So that was
Oh man, that sounds so good.
They were
yes,
really good.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, Steph and I, we have our go-to for after Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving leftovers enchiladas, right? And so Steph would usually run over to this little Mexican spot that they do these great little burritos for like $3. just the kind of little ones, 4 bites and they're done. Super good, super filling. But they are turning out house-made tortillas. And they're really good fresh tortillas that are like that kind of chewy, you know what I mean? They're not like the ones you buy in the store. A little chewier, a little heartier. They're really delicious. And the thing with that place is these tortillas are so good that they'll whip up like several packages of these. As they're walking them out to the shelf to throw them on there for people to buy, people are getting out of line to buy their burritos, running over and snatching these packages of tortillas. Okay, to the point that they had to set a limit that nobody could buy more than 2 packs at a time, because they'd walk out with like 10 or 20 of these to go put them on the rack, and somebody would just take them all. And I remember going over there one time. I was there just for the tortillas. I'd made several trips. No, we just sold out. It's going to be a little while till we make more. Go back, same thing. Finally, I'm there, standing by the rack when they go to bring them out. And there's this guy there with his kid, and they're in line, and he tells the kid, like, hey, go get the tortillas. And the kid starts heading over there and is like about to grab the whole stack. And I'm like, I'm going to punch this child in the face because I'm not leaving here without tortillas again. I don't even care. Like this kid, like, I don't know, man, you're you take all the tortillas. You're a man now, and you're about to get hit. No, I would never hit a child, obviously. But it's one of those things. That's how high demand they are. So Stephanie would take those tortillas, bring them back, and then we would start doing enchiladas with them. And so you've got your meat, you've got your turkey, right?
Yep.
And then you have your options for either stuffing, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, right? Those are kind of the starches that you can put in there. And you've got your cranberry sauce, you've got your gravy, right? You've got some green beans if you want in there. And so it was like, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. You pick 3 things. You got your turkey, you get a starch, and then one of the sides. And so we just start throwing these things together and rolling them up and put them in the tray. And so you've got a tray of like 10 of these really big enchiladas, and you don't know what's going to be in them. They're going to have anything. And so you just pour the gravy on, you put them in the oven and cook them like that, these little baked enchiladas. And they're wonderful and they're fun. You just get a half of one of these and a half of one of those. You know what's going to be inside. Super delicious. Excellent way to kind of, like you with the Thanksgiving egg rolls, is it gives a little twist on it.
Yep.
So it's not just the same, hey, this is what we had last night. It's a little bit different. It's unique, and it makes it fun. Yeah.
For sure. Totally.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, what do you think, man? Let's take a little break, and then we'll come back and talk about some adventures we had recently.
Yeah, for sure. I'm feeling pretty toasty with this porter, so.
No doubt about it, man. I absolutely have a little bit of a buzz going on from this thing. Billy Joseph Jr., thank you, my friend. You are always coming through with some just wonderful things for us. These are no exception. And it's got a little fog on both of our brains, no doubt about it.
For sure.
Yeah. So with that, we'll take a quick little break, and we'll be right back in a few minutes here. Hey everyone, Travis with Hoppy Trails here, jumping in with another quick little trail report. I'm over here at Slough Brewing Collective in Watsonville, and let me tell you, this is a very cool place, a good spot. They've got a lot of space here for you to come in, hang out. I've got a flight of 4 beers plus a pint. This pint is Heavy Wheat Champ. It's a wheat beer. This one's coming in at a 5.2. It is an excellent pour. A little bit of crisp bite there at the end, touch of bitterness, very nice beer. Everything that I've got in front of me and everything on the menu right now, highest that they've got is a 6.1. They've got as low as, looks like about a 3.5. These are all session beers that you can sit down, enjoy, play a couple of games, have a good time. This is stage beer. Right here is a light lager. Oh, beautiful color. Straw, very nice, light. We've got a blueberry, Old Giza, and this is Hasta La Vista. Look at that color right there. Oh, that is excellent. Nice, malty, good hoppy character to it. Some good beers here. As a collective, they've got a few breweries that brew here in the space behind me. They've got them on taps, rotating taps. The collective nature, I think, is really great. You bring a lot of breweries together, and everybody can kind of share and support each other. Anyway, check this place out. Slough Brew Collective in Watsonville. Absolutely get here if you can. See you again further down the Hoppy Trail.
Did you ever get the feeling that there was more to this world than meets the eye?
Ghosts, aliens, age, big feet, interdimensional spirits, cryptids, North Dakota. Well, neither have we.
So come join us as we uncover the true stories and plausible explanations behind famous paranormal urban myths.
From the perspective of skeptics.
But it's funny. We promise it's funny.
So join us in the Least Haunted Podcast, because the only thing that's haunted here is you. Drunkenly mix metaphors and shallow hoppy trails.
All right, and welcome back. That was a much-needed break. I'll tell you what, I needed a little bit of time to dust the cobwebs off my brain from that from that beer Billy Joseph Jr. sent out to me. Man, it is a good one.
It's got me in party mode.
Party!
Yeah. Speaking of party,
yeah.
look at this party I'm about to start right here. What's that? What?
Yeah,
Happy Trail
look at
shirts. What?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Man,
So,
new
patrons, if you didn't see that, if you're not watching, it's okay. We got some Hoppy Trail shirts
Yeah.
that are going to be coming your way soon.
That's right.
And hopefully we'll get them in time to you for Christmas.
Yeah, patrons, definitely get at us with your size so we can make sure we get you the right one, get you one that fits good, looks good. These are brand new shirts. They are looking, I haven't had one in my hot little hands yet, but Nick has shown me some photos, and they look good.
I suppose I can show the back. I've also got a shirt right here. Let's see here. What?
Boom! Look at
There
that,
we
man.
go.
Ah, I can't wait to put one of those on, man. Don't everybody watching, don't you want to wear that? Don't you want to be wearing that shirt?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Shout out to Junction City Print Shop.
Yeah.
Ryan Cassad. He's the one that printed them out for us. And funny enough, he lives like 5 minutes down the road from me. So
yeah.
But great guy. Got to hang out with him for a little bit. He even let me screen print my own item, not with our logo, but with something else that he had set up.
Yeah.
So I got a nice hoodie that says spam, like the spam logo, and it underneath it says memes. So spam memes.
Yeah.
But I got to screen print it myself. So it was really cool how to see how it all works and everything. So
yeah. Such an awesome thing, man. And I love that you found somebody that's 5 minutes down the road, because what do we always say, man? Support small business, support local.
Yeah.
You got somebody in your area, give them some business and shout them out and tell everybody about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you. Definitely going to be hopefully ordering more shirts from you in the near future here. But
yeah.
No, he said that he used to work in the beer industry. So I'm thinking maybe we have him come on sometime and talk to us and about his experiences and everything. And but yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
Anybody who's interested,
hear his insight. Super cool.
Definitely. But anybody who's interested that's not a patron, we have these shirts for sale. So go ahead and reach out to us. Contact at hoppytrailspod.com. Or you can even send us a DM on Instagram.
Yeah, we'll throw up something with a little post about the shirts, and if you want to hit us in the comments and a DM, whatever, we'll just get in touch with us, and we'll figure out a way that we can do a little trade. Yeah,
we're open to trades as well.
Yeah, little barter system here. You can either give us beer money. I think that's our general philosophy.
I'll call it inflation friendly transactions.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, look, you send us money, we're going to use it to buy beer. So, I mean, if you just want to send us beer, that's fine as well.
Yeah.
We'll work out an
But
exchange rate. Fear not.
yeah,
Yeah.
fear not.
Yeah.
So
No, but those shirts, I do want to say those shirts are beautiful. As soon as you sent me a picture of them, I took a look and I said, God damn it, those turned out really, really well, better than I could have expected. I
for
can't wait to
sure.
put one on and start wearing it, man. They're high quality work. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he knocked it out of the park. And I I want to talk to him about some potential other ideas that I have. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll have some different things in the near future.
Excellent. Excellent.
But yeah, so I picked up those just before Thanksgiving. And what else did we do this weekend? Oh, we went to Oregon Ducks game. It was their last game of the regular season. It was a Civil War.
Yeah. What else was it the last of?
It was the last time that they'll potentially be playing Oregon State University, the Beavers.
The last Civil War game.
Yeah, it was the last Civil War game. So that was it was really cool to be a part of. Great game. That place was crazy packed. I had never.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've only been there one other time, but I thought it was packed for the Cal game. But wow, this was incredible, and dude, it was frigid cold. Like it was easily 33, 34 degrees. I know to some people out there, that's not that cold, but with a little bit of the wind and everything, oh dude, it was just crazy cold.
Yeah.
But no, it was a really fun game.
I only got to see one game at Autzen Stadium years ago, and I can't remember who it was. I think I want to say they were playing the Huskies, but I might be wrong on that. It was a few years back, and it was when Oregon was when the Ducks were just killing it, just absolutely murdering. And all I remember was it was like every time they touched the ball, it was a scoring drive. Every time. And it was very rare if anybody else ever scored on them. And it was just like, what is happening? It felt like they were in the wrong division. But a lot of fun. You go into Autzen Stadium, and I'm sure it's this way around the country, a lot of different colleges. It's just
for sure.
Everybody's hyped up. Doesn't matter which team you're there to see. It's a great spot. Yep. Everybody's hyped up. Everybody's having a good time. And, everybody's equally freezing. But I just remember it was a good vibe the whole time. You know what I mean?
For sure. Honestly, I'd rather be there when it's freezing than when it was raining when we were there for the Cal game. But I'd rather take the cold over wet.
Yeah. Well, now here's the thing. I've got a nephew right over on Steph's side. His name's Jacob, and he grew up a Ducks fan. Hardcore his whole life, whole family, Ducks fans, all of that. I had never really been into college ball before. Then I started, getting into it. You start to catch the fever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I started getting into the Ducks, and it was, it was good. But diehard family through and through. The boy then became a Beaver when he went to college.
Oh shit.
Strangest thing. That's where he decided to go. They've got the education he wanted. He was like, Dad, this is where I'm going to go. He picked it out, went there, and he's going there right now. And so he comes home, Thanksgiving, and he had to watch his Beavers just get their asses kicked. And it's like, what did you think? You've been a Ducks fan your entire life. What did you think was going to happen today? So very interesting thing watching that go down. Jacob, if you're listening, turn this off and fucking study. What are you listening to me for? Don't waste your time on this. Go do things that are important. Anyway, I love you and sorry that you got your ass kicked by your old team.
No, that was that was a crazy game. And like you said, it's almost like it feels like every play that they're making is a scoring drive. That was especially true for the Cal game that we went to, because I think the final score was like 50 or 60 something. Like, it was just ridiculous. And Cal got walked all over. But
Ducks football, man. They know what they're doing. They absolutely know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Quack quack. And
Whack,
now
whack.
they're going on to the Pac-12 championship
Yeah.
this coming weekend in Vegas. So
Yes. Yeah.
that should
Absolutely.
be an interesting game. Yeah.
No doubt about
But
it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's pretty much what we did for the weekend. Other than, messing around with leftovers and went to a winery that we're members of. But yeah. What you said you went to Cambria and all that?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. So if you go down the coast of California, you go through Big Sur and you go past Hearst Castle, and eventually you run into this little coastal town called Cambria. And if you're not going down Highway 1, which most people are not because it's permanently closed at one place or another, either due to a fire or a landslide or goddamn whatever. I feel like you haven't been able to go straight through Highway 1 for probably 10 years now. It's ridiculous. But if you're going the way the rest of us go, which is down Highway 101, what you do is you go south until you get to Paso Robles, and then you immediately turn west and you go through some hills. And as you're coming through, you start going over the crest of the hills, and you've got these beautiful hills on one side, and out over is the Pacific Ocean. And it's absolutely beautiful and amazing as you're coming in. And then you go into this tiny little town there, and it's a great spot. It really is. It's a fun little community there. But from the weekend after Thanksgiving until Christmas, there's a place called the Cambria Pines Lodge, and they dedicate a big part of their property there for their annual Christmas market. And the Christmas market itself is nothing exciting, right? They've got some booths, they've got this, they've got that. It's kind of, the thing that, you spend some money is what it's for. But what they do that's amazing is they've got this lights display walk that you go through.
Oh,
over
nice.
2 million lights are set up in this thing. And it's a long walk. You walk through this, if you want to see the whole thing, it's going to take you well over an hour. It's really, really impressive. I will say the first time I went down there, I didn't quite know what to expect. And we walked in and I was just like, I was blown away.
Whoa.
It's cool. If you've got little kids, take them. They're going to love it. If you've got a bag of mushrooms, take them. You're going to love it. It's going to be a blast. But it's, in all seriousness, it's really amazing. And so we have started going every year for that. We've got Drew, right? Squee. We bring her because it's an amazing thing for her. And it's, it's not like an all night thing or whatever, which is fine. It closes like 8:30 or 9. So what we generally do is we'll go, we'll get checked into the room, and when you stay at the lodge, you get a free admission to the Christmas market. So you go in, you go through some shops, and you grab maybe a hot chocolate, and maybe you grab like a bratwurst or a pot pie or something like that, and then you cruise over into the beer garden real quick. You grab yourself a drink or two, and then you go stroll through the lights, and it's a wonderful plan. It works out well every time, except it didn't work out this time. And I'll tell you why it didn't work out. It's because when we went into the beer garden, we stood in line for maybe 15 minutes, and we get up to the front, and, I look at my brother and I go, hey, a dunkel, right? Yeah, dunkel. 2 dunkels. No beers. So, I'm sorry, what did you say? Oh, we don't have any beers. They haven't settled down yet. Which means that they rolled those kegs out there minutes before it was time to start up. Those kegs had not cooled down yet. And I look in the back, and they're just pouring pitchers of foam. So there's no beers. And they said, well, maybe come back later and we'll have some beers. But don't worry. As you go through the lights walk, when you get down to the bottom, there's a stand down there that also has drinks and beers. And so I thought, okay, I looked up at the beer menu. Do I want a peppermint what have you? No, I don't. Do I want a cinnamon what have you with a Fireball? Not really. Do I want a buttered rum? Maybe, but I'll hold off. Let me go get a dunkel. So we, after waiting in line and not getting a beer, which also for anybody who is, running a booth that sells alcohol of any sort or food or whatever it is, if you have something that people are going to order and you've got a long line and people are standing there, every now and again, just shout out that you don't have it, right? Just, hey, just so everyone's clear, when you get up here, there's no beer, right? Would have saved me 15 minutes.
Make a little temporary sign that says no beer.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, no beer temporarily.
Crazy thought,
just
I know.
Whatever. Just let me know so I don't stand here for 15 minutes for nothing. But we thought, it is what it is. It happens. They've never done this before for the past, 100 years or however long they've been doing it, right? It's like, you should know by now, get the kegs out there a day early. Whatever. It is what it is. It's the first weekend, the first night of the first weekend. This stuff happens. So we, get the baby into the stroller and we're going and we're taking pictures and seeing all the lights and having a good time. And my brother's like, can we walk a little faster? We've got to get to where the beers are. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. Why don't we get to where the beers are? And then we'll do another lap and we'll do it slower. No worries. Yeah. So we kind of, tromp our way through and we're elbowing people and what have you. And we get down to where they have the other booth down at the bottom. And again, we're standing there, right? And they can't figure out how to work the card machine. And so it's this whole thing. It's like 3 people in front of us. But again, it turns into like 15 minutes that we're waiting, which, okay, all right, whatever. It is what it is. And we get up to the front and no beer because not only did they not, up at the top, they hadn't put the beers into the keg fridge they had there because they had a keg fridge. Down below, they had kegs that were just sitting in a bucket of ice that they had just put in there. So they're hot. They're shaken up. And I'm just like, what is happening right now? So I think, fine. I'm not going through the rest of this without some kind of a drink. And so I look and I'm like, God, I don't like peppermint alcohol. It's just not my thing. Fireball is not good, right? And listen, if anybody's listening, you're like, good. I love Fireball. No, you don't. Stop it. Fireball's awful. It's a terrible thing and you shouldn't drink it. It's just bad by a number of measures.
It's not good for you. Yeah. If you want something cinnamon flavored, add cinnamon to some vodka. I don't know.
There you go. You can throw a cinnamon stick in some vodka. Do not drink Fireball. It's objectively bad. And so I go, all right, well, I'll get the buttered rum, right? That sounds like it'll be all right. Like, some rum in it, some buttery mix of some kind. It'll be creamy and warm and delightful. I don't know, whatever. So I order it and I pay the $18 for, an 8-ounce cup because everything's overpriced. But you think, whatever, it is what it is. So I get it and we walk away and we start walking. And I go to take a sip and they didn't put rum in it. They put fucking Fireball in it. And so I had whatever was supposed to be a hot buttered rum with Fireball in it. And I'm like, come on, man. What is happening to my life right now? All I want to do is have a drink and look at these lights. And you got to hold it together because you got the kid and you don't want to, be like, fuck these, you know what I mean? Because she doesn't understand. It's like, I don't know, we're upset about. The lights are great. So you have to kind of hold it together. But I'm just like, what is going on here? And it's hard because it's like, I'll bet a lot of these people are volunteers. And it's like the Rotary Club or whatever, so you can't really get that mad at them. But you're like, but I also paid a lot of money for all of this, like to get in and for this $20 drink that isn't very good. You know what I mean? So it's frustrating. End of the day,
so frustrating.
Whose fault is it?
Frankly, I find the whole thing a little frustrating because I can't figure it out.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
But you know whose fault it is at the end of the day? It's my fault. It's my fault because when we drove after Thanksgiving, I had leftover old Rasputins, right? I had a bunch of IPAs. I've got bottles of rum and whiskey. Why didn't I bring that down with me, pregame in the room, pour myself a flask, and handle all this business myself? It's my fault for not being a good Boy Scout. I was not prepared.
Always be prepared.
Always be prepared. And so, what did we do? We suffered through it. I'm joking. Obviously, we didn't suffer through it. It was cool. They had the lights. It's still a fun thing. And the baby had a good time. And so we did that. We got the pot pies and the what have yous. Then we left, went back to the room. my brother and I ran up to the grocery store. They don't have a lot of good craft beer, but they had some Barrel House. They had some Firestone Walker, and we grabbed those and we went back and we drank beers back in the room afterwards, which we were going to do
Excellent
anyway.
choices, by the way.
Absolutely. You're not going to go wrong with Firestone Walker and Barrel House. So at the end of the day, it was a mild inconvenience. I learned a lesson, but we had a good time.
Always.
Yeah.
Improvise.
So that's how that went. And I feel like, I feel like I made it sound worse than it was. It really wasn't that bad. It's one of those things where when you're in the moment, you're just, you want to curse something, but you get to the end and you look back and you're like, well, it was a mild inconvenience. But at the end of the day, if anybody's listening from the Cambria Pines Lodge, fucking get it together. Get it together. You've got several weekends coming up. Don't make anyone else go through what I went through. All right? Fucking lock it up. Lock it up.
When you said the butter rum, for whatever reason, I instantly thought of the Harry Potter butter beer.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? With the butter beer?
I don't know. I'd like to try it though. I'm curious, especially if it's buttery tasting. I'm on board.
Yeah, creamy, buttery. Why not? Sounds good.
Like a buttery cream ale. Ooh, yeah.
Right? That sounds delightful.
Yes, it does.
So, I mentioned this on the Discord. The Cambria had a nano brewery, and I went there a little while back, and because of some various factors going on, I couldn't go in and try the beer at the nano brewery. Right? It just wasn't going to work out. I wanted to, couldn't do it. And so for the past couple of months, I've been thinking, this is going to be great. I'm going to go down to the nano brewery. I'm going to taste the beers. I'm going to maybe interview someone real quick and whatever. I had this whole idea of how wonderful it's going to be. So Friday we drive down, we roll into town, and as we're coming in, you're coming down 101, and there's Firestone Walker, and there's the turn to go to Barrel House. It's like, hey, does anybody want to stop real quick, stretch your leg, not for nothing, just stretch your legs. Maybe we'll have a beer. I don't know, but it's just for you guys. There was like, let's just get to Cambria, we'll get some lunch and what have you. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're right. It's probably the best. So drive out there, and we go over to the Moonstone Beach Bar and Grill, it's a cool little spot, right? They've got a patio and it overlooks Moonstone Beach. It's beautiful. It's a good spot. And so I'm like, all right, so we roll in, we're going to go there for lunch before we check into the hotel. And so we walk in, go up to the little bar there. It's going to be about 30 minutes before you get a table because it's a popular spot, right? So you're like, all right, we'll go over to the bar and then grab a beer. And the bartender asks him, all right, what do you recommend? And he recommends Founders Porter, something like that. I've heard of Founders a lot. Nick, do you know Founders?
I'm loosely familiar with them.
I see them on the social medias from time to time, and that's my familiarity, is that a lot of people like Founders Breakfast. I see a lot. They've got like a breakfast stout or something.
They do like a Kentucky breakfast stout and a Canadian breakfast stout, which I'm assuming it has maple syrup in it.
Sounds right. Sounds right. Yeah.
Kentucky breakfast sounds like it'd be bourbony. So
I would hope, right?
Yeah. Bacon, bourbony.
And so I'm like, all right, Founders. I've heard of them. And the bartender, he says, what's what's the Deschutes porter? Not the Mirror
Butte.
Pond, but the Black Butte Porter. Yeah. So, I ask him, the Founder, how is it? He says, well, listen, the Black Butte Porter used to be my go-to until I started having this, and this is my go-to now. And I thought, all right, yeah, Black Butte Porter's a good porter.
Fighting words.
I'm telling you. And so I'm like, well, if this is unseating it, well, it's got to be good. So I order, and it is good. And I start chit-chatting with the bartender. And I'm like, yeah, so, here, I do this little show and point to the hat. And he's like, oh, I was wondering about that. He goes, yeah, I used to own a little brewery in town. And I go, oh, no kidding. The Nano Brewery is like, yeah, but we, the place next door wanted to expand, and so they took over our lease, and we kind of got the shaft and had to shut down. And I'm like, sorry, what? The whole thing that I've been planning for months to come see you're the guy that owns that and you're now working behind a bar instead of owning the brewery that I've been dying to see. And it just shattered all of my hopes and dreams. And it was like, fuck, man, so sad. But yeah, so now there's no brewery in town. There's no brewery. The closest brewery that there is if you go back out east to 101, Barrel House and Firestone Walker. Those are the closest breweries. Yeah.
Damn. And what was the name of that nano brewery?
I don't even remember the name now. And I tried to look it up and it's not on Google Maps anymore. So it's just like,
okay.
Yeah, it's been a year that it's been gone. And so it's just it's a sad thing. I think every town should have a brewery. You know? I mean, they were out there, they had stuff on tap, they were hand bottling, you know, and hand writing the labels and everything because they were just that small. But yeah, man. So that's unfortunate. But Cambria, they're not. I don't know, man. It's not really like a beer town. They had a place that was like the Cambria Tap Room, and so I was like, all right, this will be good. My brother like pulls them up, and he's looking at their beer list, and they're like, we have Modelo Negro and Blue Moon and Shock Top, and I'm just like, dude, stop reading that to me. You're hurting my soul right now. Like it's not a tap room. That's just a bar, man. That's just a bar. So, not a lot of good craft beer in that town. Unfortunately for them, because I think they're missing out. But you know, it's more of a wine place, I think. So a lot of tasting rooms there. So yeah, who knows?
For sure. Man, that's a shame.
Yeah. But we did on the way out of town yesterday. You know, as soon as we got back out to 101, I was like, look, you know, the baby's got to run around because we got another couple of hours of road ahead of us. So, you know, we're going to have to go to Barrel House. They've got the only place for a baby to run around. So we did. So we stopped into Firestone real quick. They do a big tour of their brewery. And I didn't do the tour just because it's a 45-minute tour and we didn't have that kind of time. But I stopped in there.
3-hour tour.
3-hour tour. Exactly. Right? Did not want to turn into Gilligan.
Because that's what a stop at Firestone turns into is 3 hours.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I stopped in real quick to take a picture and it turned into a half an hour. So.
Exactly.
Well, so I'll tell you, we went in and they've got their like tap room area, right? And then across the way is where they do the tour in the production facility, but they've got like a little bar with some taps in there. And then as you do the tour, you get 5 tastings as you do the tour. So it's like $15, 45-minute tour. You know, they tell you all the history and then you taste some beer. So why not? So I real quick just like, hey, you know, can I taste something real quick? And I do not remember the name of the woman that was pouring. Oh, no, I do. I have it in my notes right here in front of me. Her name was Karen, and she was actually super chill. And she was like, look, you've got to try the Cosmic Crusher, which is their newest variation on the Mind Haze series. So it's Mind Haze Cosmic Crusher. 9% with pineapple and mango juice.
Ooh.
So a fruited double
hazy?
IPA.
Is it hazy?
It was slightly hazy, right?
Okay.
Not super haze, but haze in there for sure. Pineapple and mango juice. It was dangerous, my friend.
Yeah.
It was dangerous.
Sure it was.
I had a tiny little pour. And oh my goodness, if it was a summer day, you could knock a 4Z down to those before you realized you were passed out. No joke.
4Z to
really
4Z.
Yes, it 100% would be 4Z to 4Z. Super good. And then I'll tell you what, based on our conversations, you would think that I probably wouldn't even try this, but I did. It's their new release. It's called a Cinnamon Dolce. Okay.
Ooh.
And I told her, I was like, you know, look, cinnamon is not the way that I would usually go. I usually kind of stay away because people overdo it. They beat you in the head with it. I had a very bad experience waking up hungover on a couch where next to me was a basket full of those cinnamon scented pine cones.
Oh, I thought you
And I
also had
almost,
Fireball.
oh, dude, no, oh my God. But the scent of those cinnamon pine cones with my hangover almost killed me. It almost killed me. It did. You're lucky that I'm here today. And
And by
so
killed
I've
you
had,
would have been you killed the couch.
oh,
Yeah.
I didn't, but I almost did. But,
Yep.
so to this day, I have a little cinnamon trauma, as you will. And so I told her, I'm like,
You have a lot of
I'll
trauma
give it a
with
try.
foods.
I do. There's a couple of things. Don't fuck around with pancake syrup. I'm not into it. But so I told her, I'm like, look, ordinarily I wouldn't go that route, but I try to stay open minded, right? I try to, all right, well,
For
I'll
sure.
give it a go round, right?
Yeah.
Don't pour me a pint of it, but I'll take a taster. It was good. It was really good, man. It was super light. Some coffee going on in there, some marshmallow, some caramel, some vanilla. And honestly, the cinnamon was real mellow and it kind of took a back seat, which I liked. You know what I mean? And
Excellent.
it supported everything else. But it was good. It was really good, man. Oh, and they were pouring it on nitro.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Wow. I bet that was
Yeah.
nice and creamy.
Oh, dude. So
It was like
creamy.
a Mexican mocha.
Dude, just like a Mexican mocha, 100% like a Mexican mocha. Yeah.
Excellent.
And so they do the non-nitro version, but I think it was, a lot of the employees were like, "Hey, we should run this one on nitro." And they're like, "Fuck it, put a nitro tap in, let's do it." And so you can actually get the cans of nitro. So,
Yeah.
if you want to get it
Hell
on
yeah.
nitro, they've got it. You just got to give it a little, 1-2 before you pour it out and yeah, so I
Nice.
recommend it. I really do. I recommend it.
Very nice.
And so I got to take a couple of pictures in the production. They're doing 500,000 barrels a year, I think, something like that.
Wow.
So they're turning out a lot. They've got
What's the limit to where you're not considered craft anymore?
I don't know. I feel like it's around. I want to say it's around the 500,000 barrel, but I may be overstating that. But I feel like that's kind of the area where it's like you've moved up into major production,
Yeah.
which is difficult because Firestone Walker, like a couple of the bigger players, they're still doing some crafty stuff and experimenting with it and like that. So you don't really want to be like, you guys are too big, you're out, because they're still keeping the
Oh no,
spirit
for
of it.
sure. For sure.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's always hard with those ones that are on the border of that upper limit,
definitely.
Well, and speaking of that, so no, go ahead.
No. Carry on.
So when I went into their big production room, they've got 70 barrel systems and a 150 barrel system, or I think two 150s. And so those things, the equipment comes in from Germany, stainless steel, beautiful, beautiful stainless steel, comes in from Germany. They have to come into the port of Los Angeles because that's the only port on the West Coast that's big enough to unload these things. They put them on specialized trucks. They have to close down parts of the freeway coming out of LA when they do in the middle of the night, close down parts of the freeway to
Wow.
transport these things all the way up to Paso Robles, right? And then they install them and then they build the floor around it because these things are like 2 stories. And so
Yeah.
they've got to build the second story floor around it. And so that's like production size. And
Yeah.
they've got a couple of different facilities. So there's one down south where they where they prepare their yeast, right? Because anybody who's a home brewer, you get this little package of yeast and you dump it in, or you can make a yeast starter and propagate it a little bit. Well, if you're doing 150 barrels, you need a lot of yeast to dump in there. So you need huge quantities of it. So they've got a whole facility that is set up for just propagating their yeast and making sure they've got the clean strains and in large quantities so they can dump it in and start these batches. Well, the place where they do that down south, they have a test experimental system, right? Their experimental system is 30 barrels. 30 barrels. A lot of
Wow.
craft breweries are brewing at 15 to 25 barrels,
Yeah.
right? 30 barrels is like their experimental system. They brew it up and then they send it out to their employees at all their different locations to kind of see what everybody thinks. That's how big Firestone Walker is, because they're doing test batches at 30 barrels. It's crazy. It
Wow.
was really impressive. Yeah,
I want to go work there.
I know it, right? But it was cool. I definitely want to go back. I want to do the tour. I want to try more of their stuff. They've got, a lot of good barrel aged stuff. They do a lot of really good beer there. I mean, Nick, you've had a bunch of their stuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of it over the years, all very good.
Yeah.
Big fan. But I honestly, I haven't had any of their stuff in probably a good 3 years or so. So
Yeah.
that'd be really nice to actually go down and visit them. We'll have
Yeah.
to figure something out later next or sometime next year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's something that's not that far south, and there's a lot of places to stay, a lot of cool stuff to do. Definitely worth a trip. And so after we left there, because like I said, I did the quick taste, I went over to Barrel House, and Barrel House is cool. It's over in this little spot they call Tin Alley. And so Barrel House is there, and then they've got like several wineries and wine tasting rooms, and they've got like a ice cream place, an olive oil place, and like a bunch of just kind of crafty stuff all in there together. So it's a cool spot. You just park and just hit all these things. But Barrel House, I love. We've been going there forever. They do some really great stuff, a whole range of styles, really unique things. And while I was there, I tried their Curly Wolf Imperial Coffee Stout. And their Curly Wolf releases on Black Friday every year. And they do variations, sometimes it's 10.5 and this and that. This one is a 9%er. It is coffee, vanilla, chocolate, and oats for the main characters in there. And man, it was really good. It was definitely a good beer. Nice little sipping beer to have. So I enjoyed that. It was, being down in Paso, it's not really cold, even though it's kind of wintertime. It was a little bit cool but sunny, so it was nice.
Yeah.
But they're doing currently, I think, 30 barrel batches. So their production batch is the size of the test rig for Firestone. But they're turning out a lot of beer on their 30 barrel system. And they just bought an airplane hangar at the local municipal
Wow.
airport. So within the next 5 years, they'll have that up and running, and they'll have a tap room there as well and increase production.
Very cool.
But they also, right on the other side of the creek that runs along the back of their like outdoor property, they have a space over there where they're doing sours. And so all their sours are separate from the rest of production. And so they've already got expanded production over there. They've got a bunch of stuff going on. And yeah, it was really cool to see them just like really growing and producing. We're starting to find them, up in the Bay Area and like that. They're starting to hit a wider area. And it's good to see because they make really good beers and they're really cool people. I have a good time every time I'm there.
Awesome. I feel they have a location out in Visalia, I believe.
Yeah,
That,
and a tap
yeah,
room
we
in
went
Fresno
to-
too, I think.
Yeah, we went to the one in Visalia earlier this year, back in May.
Yeah,
that was a really cool spot.
yeah, it really is. And like I said, really good beers. They're experimenting with a lot of stuff. They've got your IPAs, your West Coast, your hazies, your doubles, everything like that. They've got all those,
Yeah.
but then they also
Nice
have
variety.
all the classic styles, some of the more experimental. It's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So that was it. That was my post Thanksgiving weekend. It was jam packed. There were highs, there were lows. We laughed, we
Lows,
cried.
right?
I got forced to drink some Fireball. It was a whole thing.
I wouldn't say you were forced, but you were tricked.
I was tricked,
You were
and then I
definitely
didn't have much
tricked.
choice but to finish it. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do?
I call shenanigans.
Yeah, absolutely shenanigans. Yeah. Oh, Nick, we were talking about the pastrami watch
Oh yeah.
on the
Yeah.
last episode. So what happened? You got everything going? How did it turn out?
It's it's been chilling since when did I take it out of the water? I think it was on Saturday. I took it out of the sous vide. It was in there for about 3 or 4 days. So
nice.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be slicing it up this week. And packaging it all up. So, but it all looks very good from when I sliced it open after I smoked it. So, I'm excited. I still haven't taken a bite off of it or anything, so it's going to be a surprise for me. Although I used the recipe the last time, so it should be the same. So, yeah,
excellent.
I'm stoked.
Excellent. Good. Well, I can't wait to try some.
Yeah.
I hope there's some left when I get there. I really do. Yeah.
Oh no, there definitely will be, because I actually have to bring some south with me. So there will be plenty.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, do you think we're gonna see you think we're gonna see Fox when we're up there?
There's a possibility with that. So I will talk to him. Maybe we'll gang up on him.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I can't wait, man. Well, listen, I'm dying to get up there. I cannot wait. We're gonna have so much fun. Anybody listening, it's like literally after this comes out, it's gonna be the next weekend afterwards. I'm gonna be up there. If anybody is in the area, if you are in the Washington, Northern California, anything, if you want to figure out a way to come meet up with us, let us know. We'll hit you up.
Yeah.
We'll coordinate. We'll meet up for a beverage. It would be a lot of fun, and we would love to see
the
you.
Eugene area. Honestly, usually we would travel, at least an hour in either direction of Eugene. So yeah, there's always something good around. But we'd love to meet up. Just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to have some more trips coming up in the near future. We'll keep everybody posted on that. So if we're coming to your area, we'll let you know ahead of time. You can work us into your schedule. And I mean, if you'd like to come see us, or if you'd like for us to come see you, reach out to us, send us a DM, shoot us an email at contact@hoppytrailspod.com, and we'll coordinate something. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, definitely, I'm gonna hit everybody up to become a patron. Send us a couple of bucks. Patrons are gonna get those sweet, sweet shirts. Don't you want to have a sweet shirt for free? You do. You do. Become a patron.
Yeah.
Send us a couple of bucks. It's what allows us to keep doing all these things, make some fun merch and things like that. So if you've got a couple of bucks to spare, throw them at us. We'd love to have them.
Or beer money.
Or beer money, yeah. Well, Nick, where can everybody find us?
HoppyTrailsPod.com. That'll take you to our link tree. You can go send us an email or go on our Instagram, check out the lovely content that Travis makes all the time. Reach out, slide into our DMs there. Or check out our YouTube. We're starting to, do video episodes here and some additional content. And
yeah, absolutely. Well, I think with that, Nick, all there is left is to remind everybody to always say yes to the Hoppy Ending.
Always say yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The preceding podcast was produced by Sequoia Productions, LLC. Copyright 2022. All rights reserved. If you enjoyed this show and you're looking for more, or even if you're looking for something a little different, check out the other amazing shows by Sequoia Productions, wherever you get your podcasts, or on sequoia.com.
Hoppy trails to brew until we drink again. Hoppy trails to brew. Keep sharing with your friends. Who cares about which IPA tastes better? ABV are just a couple letters. Hoppy trails to brews until we drink again.
Got back into work today. I haven't been in the office basically for a little over a week. I go in and one of my coworkers is like, "Fuck happened to you? I lost 3 pounds. It looks like you found them." I'm like, "Hey, fuck you, man. Like, it's been a rough week."
Oh, wow.
It was rough for me